Rob. Thank you for organizing this very exciting event. I think the best collaboration is actually to hire somebody from that institute. Then you can really forge much stronger collaboration. Yeah, we have worked with FAO for a long time. By hiring somebody from FAO, I mean, that collaboration could be further strengthened. So thank you, Rob, for doing that. I also wanted to thank the panelists. You just gave lots of very good insights, very good the way forward, how we're going to tackle these challenges. So the short-term acute malnutrition and the chronic or long-term hunger. I think this report really produces a very good information on where we are, where the acute hunger is, where we can take some action. So yes, 124 million people are facing acute hunger, but don't forget 850 million people also face chronic hunger. So I think how can we really link these two together is a key. Now here, let me reflect a bit on the famine issues. For the last 100 years, we have faced several big, large famine. Bengal famine, Chinese famine, and Ethiopian famine. All these famines are all man-made. Although they are triggered by natural disasters, it is government, it is policymakers who failed to use trade, to use market, to use certain policy to protect the poor. So they try to cover, what have happened. Bengal, China in particular, you actually don't know what's going on. And after 3 years, you find, so many people died because of famine. So here the key message is famine is a result of government failure. It's a policy failure. It's man-made. This also brings a good news. If it's man-made, then we can fix by man, or by woman, sorry. Here the man, I mean, it's a mankind, including man and a woman. So now, so what is the role of IFPRI? I think the Commissioner Mitchell said that we really have to move to action. IFPRI obviously does not have money. But what we do is we provide knowledge, we provide data, we provide analysis for others to take quick action. On the, just to remember, in 2014, IFPRI organized a very large conference in Ethiopia on building resilience for food, for food and nutrition security. And we had about almost 1,000 people. And thanks to USAID's support, WFP, FAO, IFAD, European Union, so all the major donors, development partners were there. So there we try to introduce a concept, resilience. Basically, it's a concept to link short-term relief to long-term development. So we learned quite a bit from that exercise. I remember Ethiopia and Bangladesh are the two countries that we really highlight how these two countries have built a resilience by, let's say, building their resilient food production system. So the production, irrigation, the newer varieties, drought-tolerant varieties. So from production side, production has become very resilient. Then the social protection. I think the USAID, WFP have done great work in Ethiopia, to some extent in Bangladesh, to use the social protection to build the resilience of farmers, of the consumers, building their capacity, building their assets, so they can access to inputs, to market. So that sort of a short-term relief to long-term development through social protection probably helped millions and millions of people out of hunger, not just let's say acute hunger, but also the chronic hunger to a large extent. So here at IFPRI, we just developed a new strategy, or refreshed our new strategy. So one of the key research areas is to build a very resilient food production system and to use every food system as a concept to guide all IFPRI's work. So under that, yes, how we're going to make sure that our food system will be able to adapt to climate change, different varieties, different production practices, and so on, and targeted social protection to build people's resilience capacity to move out of poverty, not just in short term, but more important in longer run. Now we are actually working in many countries. Yes, we are working in Venezuela, right? We received some funding from USAID. Thank you for your support. First time we are working there to look at the situation there. How can we advise the government or other stakeholders? I mean, the country is very rich in natural resources. It's a shame that so many people are struggling with their food. Food prices are very high. That actually reminds me, sometimes trade market is so important. Our 2018 Global Food Policy Report very much focused on trade, protectionism. So if the anti-trade or the protectionism will become to reality, I'm afraid the progress we have made in cutting hunger and malnutrition will be set back. Don't remember, I just want to remind you, 2017-2018 food price crisis was triggered by trade, not by lack of production. Yes, certain places it was lack of production, but at global level, it is a trade export bans, the biofuel. So all the things we need to look at. So I think the report look at what country by country at a global level. I think the food price crisis can come anytime if we have some big failures in trade, if our global trade system stops functioning, or investment does not flow, or knowledge information does not flow. I think we will face another global food price crisis, not just this country-based food price crisis. Now, as I said, we're working in Venezuela, by the way, Bangladesh, Ethiopia, South Sudan. South Sudan, not just IFPRI, the whole CGIR is very much committed. There will be a delegation going to Juba maybe in the next few months together with FAO. FAO is coordinating that. So bringing the CGIR centers and development partners together to see how we can really build long-term resilience for South Sudan to graduate from either acute or it's chronic hunger. So let me thank you for your participation and your commitment. Being here is already a commitment to the issues we are working on. So I'm very sort of committed to work with you to tackle both acute and chronic hunger. Let's eradicate them, in our lifetime. Thank you very much.
This brings the event to a close. Thank you all, also on my behalf, for your presence and for your interest in this topic.